Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube tutorial guide. Today we're going to be talking about Hellion Lib and TvZ. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the builder portion of the video. So just like the title says, this is Hellion Lib. It's been a bit updated and revised though since I first have learned this build. I've been getting some coaching from Future, who I think has used this build for a long time, and he still uses it even in competitions. So it is a fantastic build. It should basically, for like the remainder of Legacy of the Void, unless there's some crazy changes, this build should like last till the end. It's just so standard, it's really good. So this build starts off as 16 racks, 16 gas. Oh, and as I was saying, maybe you already know this build, but there's going to be some additions to things that I've been getting coached on that may help you do this build more efficiently, and in particular is a follow-up timing to the 650 timing that is really strong and can help you win the game right then and there. So we'll get into that later though. In TvZ you can SCV scout. I've been doing no SCV scout in TvZ and just scouting with the Reaper, and seeing a lot of success with it. Even versus pool first, you just make sure that you start your second Marine, and if you don't see creep when your Reaper arrives, you continue to build the Marine instead of cancel the second Marine and getting your reactor, and you pull through SCVs and you're safe versus pool first, and then that way the Reaper is able to check the follow-up of the Zerg. So again, SCV scouting is optional. In this replay I won't do it. So we go Reaper fast expand, obviously. And because this build is a 2-gas opener, you'll notice like a lot of Koreans right now, they may be going like the 3cc stuff, and that's good, but this build has extremely exact timings that you'll need to practice and work out in custom games, and if you're able to hit them and nail them, you're gonna be able to climb very high with it. So something I did is, as soon as the first Reaper popped, or as soon as the Reaper popped, I pulled an SCV and sent it to the racks, and he started the factory real quick. So right now you'd be able to tell if there was creep or not, and in this game I'm pretending that there is, so I canceled the Marine, start the reactor. It really doesn't delay anything, you're still able to get the fastest Hellions possible if you're very exact with your cancellation and starting the reactor. Okay, so go ahead and add on swap, drop a mule, and start orbital.
Add-on complete.
Get those Hellions going. And around 31 to 32 supply is when you generally take your first depot. I like to send the Marine to the edge of my base just to kind of patrol for overlords to deny scouting. It's also just, you know, dark. Like it's stuff I don't have vision of in my own base, so it's just good to know it's there.
Add-on complete.
So something I do, particularly like on a map like this, is I try to cover all the possible move-out locations that a Zerg army could go through. So if you notice, I've kept my Reaper on the 12 o'clock position, and I'll send the Hellions out to the front of the base just to check. So some normal timings you're looking for is you want to see a third hatch before 3 minutes. If not, alarm bells should be going off. But the nice thing about doing something like this, with particular having, you know, the Hellions and Reaper positioned, is I'm able to see exactly what's coming, and you'll have time to react accordingly. So you'll start up a Lib. The second depot at the wall I didn't build until I'd already started my 5th and 6th Hellion. Stem you'll get just right after the Lib. So you go ahead and start the command center, and then you'll pull up 2 SCVs to build 2 barracks. And you'll start, this is different from maybe some of the variations you guys know of Hellion Lib, you'll start a reactor on the factory. And the reason we're doing this is because the starport's going to build the tech lab for us anyways, and this allows us to get really fast ebays. Faster ebays means just better timings. So this is a small optimization to the build. That makes a big difference. So after you started those eBays and a supply depot, then you can get the tech lab. And as soon as the tech lab finishes and the reactor finishes, you just land the factory on the tech lab and the starport will build its own reactor. Get that fast 1-1 going. Start up a siege tank. Get the Marines going. Something I forgot to mention that I'd like to bring out is around 4 minutes, pay attention to what comes out of your opponent's third base, like what eggs hatch into, because like if you see any form of units like around, like this isn't like a complete rule, but this is a rule I go by at least. If you see units instead of drones popping out at their third, expect that you're getting attacked at some point. So you should react accordingly, you know, swap, get siege tanks, so on and so forth. But that's pretty much it at the early start, at least after you've established your net that you need to look out for. So now we're working up to our timing. Around this time, you could start to pull your Hellions home. You want to get your armory when your 1-1 is halfway through. Something important that I did with the CC is I dropped the mule as soon as orbital finished, and then I lifted it to go land. So for your timing, you should have exactly 16 Marines, 2 medevacs, and 2 tanks. You want to leave just before 6:30 so you can get there by 6:50. With your Hellions, you'd use the Hellions to scout out where the 4th location is. Because, you know, they could take it on either side. They could take it where my Reaper is, or they could take it where my army is moving to right now. Get that 4th and 5th rack started. Park the siege tanks kind of, you know, near something. I could have put the 1 tank closer to the wall, but it's fine. This is just demonstration purposes. The reason you leave the Hellions home is because if they counterattack, you would have nothing to defend that. So 6 Hellions is able to defend the link counterattack. Set up your 1-1 immediately. And behind this, you've just been making units and more tanks and more medevacs. Because if the first timing you did at 6:50 went really well and you cancel their 4th base, maybe you even contested their army a bit and you target fire down some Banes. In that situation, around now, you could literally just like, I call it the F2 follow-up, just pull everything from home and go push on the other side of the map where they took their next 4th or wherever their current replacement 4th base is. And this is so strong, you'll just end a lot of games right here. So with this build, it really rewards you for your exactness. The more you can just have this grinded out and hit those timings perfectly, the sooner you're able to end the game in a very convincing manner, and will be less likely to end up in late game. But it's still important to have the transition anyways. So there's 3 transitions you can do from here that I know of at least, or that I think that are viable. Sorry, I'm struggling to load up my gas there. The first is you can go a 5-2-1 build where you get an extra factory. And the 2 options there is either you get a reactor or you get another tech lab. And so the difference is one you're going to go into mines with, the other you're going to go into tanks. So you either go biomine or biotank. The other option is instead of getting this 4th base, you stop at around 60 SCVs to 63, depending on whether you take a gas or not. And instead of getting the 4th, you throw down 3 more racks, and you go for an 8 racks all in. And all of those options are viable and can be done at a very high level. I've seen like guys like Future do all of those options. So for now, just pick one. I think as a beginner, it's really easiest to just stick with the 8 racks option personally. And as you've learned the build and get more comfortable hitting the first 2 timings perfectly, then you can transition to the full macro stuff. But that's just a personal opinion. I think right now, like in the meta right now, I mean, it may not be this way in a couple months, but a lot of Zergs are going for like heavy roach styles. In that case, if they're going to max out on roaches, you don't want to go 8 racks. You just want to like get a second factory and get a lot of tanks. So yeah, at this point, you're just aiming for your 2-2 timing with the rest of your army. And that is pretty much the build. For late game transitions, I don't profess to know late game very well at all. This is just things that I've observed or that other players have taught me. Jehefi is a big fan of just going pure bio mine in the late game. He's told me to do that multiple times. So you could, if you want to do that, just throw down 2 more racks and you have a total of 10 racks, and then 2 factory mine production. I'll show another option though in a second that you could do for late game. Whereas instead of getting the 2 racks that I'm getting right now, you could go kind of like Ghost Mine Tank sort of styles. So you get a Ghost Academy and then another tank. So you have like 1 tank with the reactor and the other 2 tanks with tech labs. And so depending if they're going lurkers or, you know, ultras or kind of whatever their composition is, you're able to get both mines and tanks as needed. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know. And again, I hope you enjoy using the best build for TvZ in the current meta for 2021. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.